What is going on? Let's get into another conversation highlights video, but with who?
I'm Freya. I'm an amateur runner. I've been running since I was 16, and at the moment I'm running 2,500 kilometres to try and raise £120,000 for an emergency solidarity fund for refugees and asylum seekers. And I'm doing it all dressed as a disco ball.
Now look, it's an incredibly complex topic this, and if you want to hear our full conversation, you can head to the YouTube channel now just to hear all of Freya's reasoning behind this incredible journey that she's on. But in summary, I think this sums it up pretty well. This is why Freya is trying to raise £120,000.
So I went to charity Bail for Immigration Detainees, who do the most amazing work in this area. They work directly with people as caseworkers and provide that legal service, and they help them often when no one else can and can reach them. And I said, what do you need? You tell me what you need and I will help you make it happen, because there's got to be something you need, I sense. Yeah. And they said, if we can have another legal manager, the number of people we can reach at this very difficult time in policy will be completely changed. So 120k will pay for that post. So I said, okay, I guess we're raising 120k. And it's become the Emergency Solidarity Fund, because what is happening means that people need solidarity. They need that feeling that a community is behind them and supporting them as a refugee, as asylum seeker, as an immigrant in this country, just to know that they haven't been left and that they're not alone and that they do belong here. So we officially started at Christmas. And by June, hopefully, we'll have reached £120,000 for bail for immigration detainees.
Look, it's such a polarising topic right now. So doing this challenge for Freya, who's in it day to day, how does she feel about it?
I feel privileged that so many communities have welcomed me in and given me the chance to speak and have listened, because it's a really stressful topic. And I think lots of people are scared of the issue, and listening in the first place is hard. So every time I've gone to a sports event or a running event or a charity event and people have listened, I feel privileged and lucky that they've given me their time. And I feel privileged to do this on behalf of BID, Bail for Immigration Detainees, who are, I can't put into words the respect I feel for them doing this work, and other charities in that area like RunThrough and Detention Action. And I think I feel privileged to be able to do it, just to be able to run and to be in a position as someone who is studying in this area and works in human rights. I understand it a bit more, maybe, to be in the position to share that message and to be physically able to run the distance. And I mean, to be honest, most days I just feel lucky to be alive anyway, because my own experience in life means that, you know, I was suicidal. I did try to kill myself twice. And so the idea of still being here and doing something important, that's what matters. So I feel hugely lucky to be able to do this.
Freya is brilliant, and she's so open about the battles that have led her to this point in her journey. But when did running first become a big part of Freya's life?
I remember exactly when it was, because it was the New Year's resolution.
Okay, yes, one that stuck.
Yeah, I know, rare, isn't it? No, so in the November before, so this was the 1st of January 2012, and the November before was the first time I'd attempted to kill myself. And I don't know if anyone hearing this will have been through this experience. To survive a suicide attempt is a very surreal life experience. And I think for everyone it's a bit different, but you have a period of time afterwards where you weren't expecting to be there. And I remember life was still terrible in my eyes, you know, things were still impossible. And I had nothing really to take forward. I had nothing to live for effectively. And my dad was someone who used to be in the army, and he was big into fitness, he was big into running. And I always, as a 16-year-old, I remember being like, oh, you go on and on about this. And running does not solve the problem. You know, when someone's like, have you tried breathing? And you're like, oh yeah, I've tried breathing. And he kept saying he thought exercise and running would help me. And I thought, classic teenager, it's like, sport is not going to fix this
Yeah.
problem. But on the 1st of January, I thought, look, I'm still here. I'm here for now anyway, and I'm miserable, I'm in pain. And so why don't I just do this thing? Because it's going to be miserable anyway. So I'll be miserable or I'll be miserable. And I kind of did it to prove a point to him that running wouldn't solve the problem. And here we are 11 years later. And I think he might have proven his point.
And what were those first few months getting out the door like?
I couldn't run for more than maybe 40 seconds, 50 seconds. I didn't do any sport at the time. And I remember like marching around these fields in January, you know, that awful sideways January rain and you're in the mud and it's bleak. And I just was like marching around these fields out of breath, just like, I hate running and I hate the world. And looking back, it's almost funny, really. But I finished the plan. I tried to quit twice, but I finished the plan. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, I can run for 35 minutes without stopping. I only did it twice, but I was like, I can do it. And then I remember I did my first 10K at Easter. And then that summer, was running like 50, 60 kilometers a week. I was doing a half marathon every single weekend. And life was still difficult, you know, everything that was going on in my life, it was still hard, but I had this thing that was just for me.
And now, having been in the community for years, for Freya, what is so special about the running community?
It's the people. And I think the thing I've always noticed, every run club I've ever joined, when I did sport at uni, every time I've got involved with races and park runs and things like that, is that runners endlessly give up their time. Have you noticed this?
Yeah,
like,
all the time.
Without thinking about it. You don't have trainers, you can wear the trainers they're wearing. Like, you need someone to pace you, they'll run the entire thing with you. It doesn't matter what they were planning to do, they'll help you. And just random strangers you've never met standing on a finish line being like, that was the best thing you've ever done, I'm so proud of you. And you're like, I don't know these people from anyone, and yet they're turning up for me. And so it is addictive, because you remind yourself what community means, and the running community is huge. And I think one of the things with this campaign is I was like, it is a very difficult topic, but I know as a runner that if I turn up and I'm like, I'm just trying to do something that's going to help, and you then at least listen to that. So as a community, they've been amazing. They've always been amazing, and then they've been amazing for this as well. And
finally, look, I couldn't speak to Freya and not ask the obvious question, why the disco ball?
When you're standing there in a disco costume, people are like, that's so cool. And then they want photos, and then you get to talk to them. And I think that's a really important thing with a topic like this, is people are really wary. And so giving them the chance to ask questions is really important, and making it feel a bit more approachable. But also it's hopeful. Like, it makes people smile going along and doing the disco warm-ups. And it's really cheesy, and I'm always saying really cheesy things. I think it brings out a side of people that actually they really like, and they're always laughing. And this is a difficult topic, and when you bring something that makes people feel a bit human and like they can laugh and they can be there together, it just makes it a little bit easier for people to engage as well. So it's a bit of a message of hope, and I don't mean that as in I am the message of hope, like that sounds very cocky, but I think it's important to remember there is hope. There are things that people can do, and something about a disco ball has that effect, I think.
As I said, there is a much longer version of this conversation, and I do genuinely think it warrants that 25 minutes of your time. That it is, getting into Freya's mental health journey a little bit more, and the reasoning behind this fundraising target that she's trying to hit. So head to RunThrough TV to check out that in full. If you have any comments on this video, if you would like to see anybody on this channel, please do pop them in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube as well, make sure you subscribe to RunThrough TV as well.